Thank you to University of Lahore, TEDx team for inviting me here today in such an honorable event. I don't consider myself a debater. I'm not a speaker indeed. I can't write speech and memorize them. And when I'm called on events like these, I just try to speak my heart out. I promise I won't bore you today. So my story links back to a girl, 2008, 11-year-old girl, confused, introvert, good for nothing sort of, average in studies. A girl whose mom used to think that if she is able to do matric, if she's able to complete her ninth or 10th grades, I would deem her as a successful girl. That average sort of a girl I was at that age. A girl who had fear living her life. I was scared of my life a lot. Some things probably I have never spoken about, never talked about, but things I might talk about today because I don't know, I just feel like talking. So, one thing I knew, I just, to put off my frustration, to get everything out of my heart, I just used to play sport. At my school level, in 4th grade, 5th grade, whenever I was sort of insulted by teachers for not performing good, I used to go in the basketball court. I used to start playing basketball. I used to go in the cricket field. I used to start playing cricket. I used to go in the football field. I used to start playing football because that is what was my absolute escape from everything, from life. My life took a turn back in 2010. Hats off to my mom, she realized that I had a glimpse of something in sports. I never thought that I would be coming that far in sports. Never. I used to treat sports as my escape route, escaping from life. Escaping from life, that's all, escaping from life. My mom spoke to my dad. She heard about these trials happening in Islamabad. She spoke to my dad and they thought that let's try and give me a platform where maybe I could excel my energy in a positive way, where maybe I would be able to spend those 3-4 hours after school, which I used to spend in a desperate condition, cycling around the streets or just teasing the old men, taking rounds on the bike. I might be able to excel in the ground. I wasn't interested at all. Believe me, I hated football. I talked to my sister, my eldest sister, and I told her that I would just go to the football field because I had a fear of failing. I had a fear that no one would ever be happy from me. Whatever I do, I would fail. I would fail. And that is the reason I never wanted to go into that football field because I knew that I would go. I would fail. I would come back. People would laugh upon me. My cousins, my family, my friends, they would laugh upon me. And then there you go, another failure in the life of Abiha Haider, right? So, 2010, my first day of the summer vacation, my parents took me to the football field in Sports Complex Islamabad. I played with the kids. I was 11 at that time. And honestly, I was very sure, I was very positive that I would be getting a kick out from this ground. I would be going back home. I would spend all my summer vacations watching cartoons, late night movies, playing Ludo with my siblings, and I would waste all those 3 months like the way I used to waste all my life, all my years back then. But I don't know what Allah had probably thought about me at that time. The coach came to my parents after my training session and revealed that probably I had a spark in football. And he would want me to groom, he would want me to play with their team, he would want me to practice, to start practicing, and there I was stuck with the football team of Islamabad. One year down the line, I started practicing, and then I realized that no, I need to talk. I need to talk with my own self. Honestly, I stood in front of the mirror in my room and I started crying. I did not know what was happening in my life. I was so into that fear that I would fail. My parents are giving me another opportunity to maybe do something in life, something progressive, because I'm already a failure in my studies. I can never do anything progressive, and I would fail again. I would fail again. And what would I do? That was that very moment I thought that this is enough. Now I need to do something. Like, if I would give myself 1 week, honestly, I would play football, and I would see that if I can do this, I would put my heart into this. 1 week, I trained 100%. My routine was I used to come back from school at around 3 p.m. I used to have my lunch, and my dad used to take me to my football field 4 p.m. I used to come back at around 8, do my homework, sleep. 1 week down the line, I realized that this is where actually my potential lies. This is something I never discovered, but this is something probably my parents saw in me, probably my mom saw in me, and this is something which I need to now build upon my life. My life is not a useless piece of paper which I should just throw into fire. I have a fear. I have a fear of failing, but that is now my biggest success, because now, whenever I feel that I'm going to fail this project, or whenever I feel that I'm going to fail this certain match, I know that I am destined towards getting success, because I am so confident with my failures now that those are the very key that मुझे पता लग जाता है that I am going to achieve this thing. 2010, my first national tournament from Islamabad team, a 11-year-old girl playing amongst the girl aging plus 20 plus to 30 plus. I scored my first goal in the first 2 minutes of the match. I never thought that I could do that. I contributed towards the success of my team, and there was then I got all my motivation, my ever needed motivation of the last 11 years on which I was building a hopeless life turned into a miracle. I knew that this is the change I was looking forward to. 6 months down the line, I was called to attend the national camp of Pakistan. I had never thought about it. 60 girls, 60 plus women, girls from around Pakistan were called to attend the Pakistan national women football team camp. And hopeless failure was also called into that camp. I still remember I was crying all the way to the hostel. I did not want it to go because I knew I would fail again. I knew I would never get selected for the national team of Pakistan. I would come back. My relatives would laugh upon me. All my cousins who used to tease that, football is a male-dominated sport. You can't play football. Girls are not meant to play football. I know that. I had to listen to this. Anyways, I went to the football camp. I practiced for like 3 months, gave my heart out, and guess what? I was selected to represent Pakistan in the South Asian Games, Bangladesh. One of the youngest ever footballer to represent Pakistan internationally at the age of 13 and a half. Still hold this record. No one has ever performed for Pakistan in football at such a young age, which I did. In the world we are living, we have this thing, we have a curse upon us that everything we want to do, we're thinking to do, we want to achieve is already labeled, it's already titled. From the male perspective or the female, the boys would not be allowed or would not be catered if they want to go into the arts and craft field, or if they want to go into the dining field, the restaurant field. Same, I was very scared that now, if I am about to pursue something which is a male-dominated sport, which is a male-oriented sport, I need to go beyond boundaries. I need to go to the extra lens. I need to prove myself beyond my horizons in order to comprehend that no, if I can do this, any girl can do this. I need to establish myself to a level that 10 years down the line, the girls aged 10, 11, 12, at the age when I started my football, I did not have any role model, but I wanted to become a role model so that those girls who are now at that age bracket of the ages of, for instance, 8 to 12, they would see that no, if she can achieve it, we can also do that. And the biggest barrier for me at that time was my relatives. My family, obviously, they were my first support. My dad, my mom, my siblings, my uncles. But your external relatives, they come with all those labeled titles that, oh my God, a girl from our family can never play a sport, which is a male-dominated sport, which is considered to be a boys' sport only, which is played with a certain uniform. And obviously, if I am now about to enter the field of sports, so that is labeled that now I would not be a correct girl. Or now I would not continue my studies because I just would not. Now I would take my family to the level, to the path of shame, because that is what women are titled to be. That if we leave the things of kitchen, we become the name of shame for our family. Damn, I needed to cut that cross. I needed to put that right on their face that no, your sons would not be able to do the things which I would achieve. And guess what? God was actually kind. 2011, a year after my footballing career, I was invited to the White House. I was invited to United States of America on a Sports United Exchange program where I represented Pakistan. I was the ambassador of Pakistan. Yep. Right on that very stage in the White House, right in front of Miss Hillary Clinton, a girl who was so shy, who was so introvert, who could not even speak a word in the morning assembly, was able to defend her country, sports, terrorism, all those labeled things that Pakistani girls or women are perceived to be only the, no offense, but burqa avenger people. We are not perceived to look like this because Pakistan is perceived to be an illiterate state, a state who would put their women in the four corner of the house, a state who would put their women in the four walls of the house, a state who would not ever want to see their women excelling. So right there and then, a 14-year-old, a 14-year-old was then an advocate of Pakistan in the White House in front of Miss Hillary Clinton and showed that if I am here right now being a 14-year-old woman from Pakistan, from a very, very, very brown family, standing right in front of you, speaking to you in an English language with the same confidence by which you are speaking to me, this is Pakistan. This is the identity of Pakistan. This is the women of Pakistan, right? So, my second fear. Now I am in the national team. I have visited White House. I have visited USA and other countries in the span of 2 years. What about my studies? Am I actually going to be a role model? Am I actually going to be a person who could proudly say to my younger siblings that, look, if I have achieved this, if I have walked past through this stage, you should follow my footsteps and you should walk on this stage as well. Because that is what we are all about. We look towards our elders and we follow their steps, right? So I decided, I again had a talk with myself. I decided that now I need to put across to my second fear. Now I need to think about my studies. Obviously, being in the Pakistan football team, I had an extremely tough schedule. I used to train 2 times a day, 3 hours each. I had school. I had no social life. But then I changed my school. I needed to get out of that labeled environment. I changed my school. I started my OA levels. And football had right then been a great support. I got a 100% scholarship for my OA levels. Anyways, I did my O-levels, I came into the university, somehow I wanted to do LLB, which no one thought that I would ever be able to do, but I wanted to be an advocate, a face for the women of Pakistan, a face for the youth of Pakistan, and a face for Pakistan. I worked hard, I worked day and night, I faced all my failures, I failed a lot, I failed my mocks, I failed my assignments, but I never gave up. And thanks to few friends around, this is not my own journey, of course, I would never say that. The friends who were with me in that very phase. Finally, 3 years down the line, I completed my LLB from University of London with a distinction. And that too on a 100% scholarship. 3 years, I never paid anything. 2 years of the O-levels, I never paid for my education. Right now, the same girl who was perceived to be a big failure in education and in her life as well, is doing her LLM Masters in Law from the University of London on 100% scholarship again. 2019, I was called to Europe, especially from Pakistan. FIFA had invited me. The same girl who thought that she would never be able to do anything, let alone anything to represent Pakistan, I was called by FIFA to represent Pakistan in 2 Guinness World Record events. I went there, I played 2 Guinness World Record matches, made them, came back home with 2 Guinness World Records. 2020, I have been named the same girl who was labeled throughout her life, who could never do anything, who was probably a part of just that one Shararti kid of the family. 2020, I have been named as the top 30 powerful Muslim women in the world. The only thing right now I would conclude my speech is that I had in mind something else to talk about, but whatever came up front, I just spoke about it. I never talk about my failures, I never talk about my fears because I'm scared of talking about them. Right before this talk, I was actually scared that what would I talk about because I never write my speeches, I just can't memorize stuff. My friend texted me and he said that just talk about anything you would really want to talk right now. And I don't know, at this event, I really wanted to talk about my fear and my failure. The thing is that if you would not have a fear, and if you would not come across your failures, you will never be able to cherish success. Absolutely not, never. Right now as well, I know that I still have a lot of fears I need to overcome. I have fear of losing my relationships. I have fear of losing my trustworthy friends. I have fear of losing my family. There are a lot of fears who contribute in my daily life, always, all the time. But the thing is that your fears are your flavors of life. And for us to live this life, we need to taste all the flavors, right? But the thing is that just like we taste burgers, we taste the bad ones as well, we taste the good ones as well. But what do we do with the bad ones? Do we go to that restaurant again? No, right? We change the flavor, we change the taste, we go to another thing, but we keep going. We would never stop eating burgers. We would keep on trying new restaurants to try new tastes, to see where we set up, where exactly we want to reach, on what level of the taste we want to reach. So that's what life is. Our life is built upon all our fears. And our fears are our flavors of life. Keep the good one with you, build upon the bad one, keep tasting, and keep reaching the height of success. Thank you so very much.